What's wrong with all of you crazy people? You're probably choking on your food while you wait for me to give you guys some news because the last few days here have been completely crazy. In today's film, I'll be giving you all the information you need, so please pay close attention because what's happening now is truly important in a lot of ways. At this very moment, we are seeing the US government totally fall apart and causing chaos, including a government shutdown and the mass resignation of federal workers. People are scared about their savings because of this, and I think it's perfectly normal to feel this way. But if you watch this show, you should know that we are not emotional investors. People like us are logical and reasonable, and we base our choices on facts. And that's what I'm going to show you in this video. That being said, I do want to bring up something that is both funny and bizarre. People who follow Jim Cramer's Counter Cramer Index say that buyers don't need to worry about the US government shutting down. This is the reverse Cramer Index for those of you who don't know what it is. It's an index that tracks the success of the opposite of what this person Jim Cramer says. And it does work with a success rate of more than 50%. So when Jim Cramer said, "Don't worry about a US government shutdown," people began to worry. Okay, it looks like things are going to start going pretty crazy here and things are going to start flying off the wall. Made them worry even more. That being said, there are signs that this could happen in the short run. What you guys need to be aware of is what happens right after those sell-offs. That's why I'm making this movie today. I know that many of you will make a mistake that you will regret for the rest of your lives if you don't pay close attention to what I have to say. Now, I want to give you more information about the US government shutdown, the most important things you need to know, and then I'll tell you what I'm doing. You can decide for yourself what to do next. The US government closed down. The US government is about to shut down for the first time since 2018. Markets are getting ready for it. This would affect 750,000 workers every day, and the daily pay would be $400 million. What does this really mean? The last time the government shut down was in December 2018, during Trump's first term. The government was shut down for 35 days, which is the longest in US history. In general, a shutdown lasts for 8 days, but when it lasts longer, it affects more people. When the government is shut down, many of its activities stop completely. The government keeps running services that it thinks are important, like those that help with law enforcement. If a government is not reopened and a deal is not made by October 1st at 12:01 a.m. Eastern, the US government will shut down completely, which is what is happening now. What does it mean for the market? That's the million-dollar question. In the long run, it doesn't really mess up the market, which is a surprise. In fact, 86% of shutdowns led to the S&P 500 going up the next year, with an average gain of 12.7%. So, this is the mistake I want you to stay away from. Pay close attention. This doesn't mean anything. Yes, there may be some volatility in selling based on fear in the short run, but in the long run, we're good 86% of the time, almost 90% of the time, and even more than 86% of the time, with the way the market is right now, with the Fed dropping rates and other things going on. And we're really great. As a matter of fact, I believe it's very likely that the stock market will end up because of this. I'll explain why in a moment. And of course, with all of this going on, the XRP cryptocurrency market will do really well. There is no getting around the fact that the short-term impact will cause more volatility. At the end of the shutdown, the S&P 500 only tends to end up 55% of the time. That means it's a 50-50 chance. You can risk it or just wait for the dip to happen and buy it. To be honest, I'm buying that dip. That's the most important thing I learned from that. That's going to make your life different. I'll talk more about specific plans in a moment. Also, almost 100,000 government workers quit this morning, making it the biggest resignation ever. All signs point to this being an important moment. But I have one more question for you. Do you really think that 100,000 government workers quitting, most of whom aren't doing anything really useful, is that big of a deal? In other words, the US government spends too much money. If we really think about it, having all of these people quit is probably a good thing. The government is still providing all of its important services. The most important services work fine, but a lot of these workers are going, especially federal workers who, to be honest, are just adding to the burden on taxpayers. They do not work. It's possible that they'll all be gone. For me, that doesn't bother me too much. Just as long as we have a society that works, a police force that does its job, and proper security and audits taking place, maybe this is a good lesson for everyone back home. I guess we'll see what happens if nothing changes here in the next few days. Now that we know all of this, we need to pay close attention to what's going on right now, okay? We need to pay very close attention. I'll tell you why. All in all, there's a lot going on right now that nobody is paying any attention to. Don't pay attention to any of this. The government was closed. It doesn't matter. We've only talked about the 50-50 and what will happen soon. Also, did you know that 86% of the cases we close will be worth more in a year? Good. Do not worry, but let's look at what's really going on. First, Pavel Durov, one of the most important Bitcoin founders in the world, has said that he believes each Bitcoin will eventually be worth $1 million. He's really crazy to say that. We'll talk about why soon. The SEC is also thinking about letting stocks trade on blockchain, and they want to get it up and running fast. That's something I want to say again. They want to let people trade stocks on a blockchain and want to get it up and running quickly. In the US stock market alone, trillions of dollars are bought and sold. If all of those interactions happen on the blockchain, they want to keep you from paying attention. Right now, they want you to sell out of fear. Because the government is shut down, they want you to give up all of your coins. There will be fake costs and leaders telling you to sell, sell, sell. Fear, fear, fear. All of this will go away. You'll sell, and then they'll do something like this. The rebound will be in the shape of a V. We'll be way above the price we sold at by a huge amount, and you'll be left with no crypto and wondering why you were so stupid. As someone who started out in cryptocurrency, I can tell you what it's like. I was there. It took place to me. I'm making this movie so that you guys don't have to go through that. I probably don't need to tell you this if you're new to the market or if you've been in it for a while, but it might be a good idea. It's taking place. Crypto is being fully integrated into every part of the modern banking system. This is going to be a huge deal. Do not be stupid. That's the advice I have for you today. Then that's what I do, right? So I'd like to invite you all to the world's best free crypto trade group. A lot of people tell me that I should charge $500 a month to just let them see this. I don't do that though. You can have this for free. This is where I write about all of my deals and real-time market thoughts. Boom. People are copying my trades in Discord and Telegram, and they are regularly making between 100 and 400% a month.